The day Mary Caldwell buried her husband, the world did not end with thunder or fire. It ended quietly, the way candles die when the wind grows tired. The wooden coffin sank into the dry prairie soil, and with it went the last piece of warmth she had known. Eli Caldwell had been a good man, a laughing man, the kind who whistled while fixing fences and kissed her forehead before dawn rides. Now there was only silence, a silence so heavy it pressed against her chest like a stone. The ranch that once felt alive now echoed with emptiness. Empty stalls, empty chairs, empty nights. Debts followed the funeral like vultures. The bank took the land, the cattle were sold one by one, and neighbors who once shared meals now crossed the street to avoid her eyes. A widow, alone, broke, and forgotten. Mary became a ghost walking through her own life. Each morning she rose not because she wanted to live, but because the habit of breathing had not yet left her. She worked small jobs, washing clothes, baking bread, cleaning saloons where laughter cut her like knives, but grief clung to her like dust. Then one evening, as the sun bled red across the horizon, she saw him. A quiet cowboy sat on the porch of the general store, hat low, hands resting calmly on his knees. He did not stare. He did not whisper. He simply nodded when she passed, a small gesture, but one that felt like respect in a town that offered her none. His name was Thomas Reed. He spoke little, worked hard, and carried a sadness of his own, etched into the lines around his eyes, hidden behind a gentle stillness. Days passed, and somehow he was always nearby, fixing a broken wheel without being asked, leaving a sack of flour at her door with no note, no demand. Mary did not thank him at first. Pride and pain built walls around her heart. But Thomas never pushed. He understood silence because it was the language he spoke best. One night, a storm ripped through the plains, tearing apart the small shack Mary now lived in. Rain soaked her blankets, wind shattered her last window, and for the first time since Eli's death, she broke down completely, sobbing, screaming into the dark. That was when Thomas appeared, drenched and breathless, having seen the lantern fall. Without a word, he covered her with his coat, carried her belongings, and led her to his modest cabin nearby. There were no questions, no pity-filled looks, just warmth, firelight, and quiet safety. Mary sat trembling as Thomas poured her tea with steady hands. "You don't have to be strong here," he said softly, his first full sentence to her. Something inside her cracked. The tears came again, but this time they were allowed. Days turned into weeks. Mary helped around the cabin, cooked meals, slowly smiled again. Thomas never touched her without permission, never spoke of the future, never tried to replace what she had lost. Instead, he showed her love through presence, through listening, through patience, through letting her talk about Eli without jealousy or discomfort. He told her about the family he lost to sickness, how silence became his shield. Two broken souls, learning how to breathe again in the same quiet space. The town noticed the change in Mary, the color returning to her cheeks, the strength in her walk, but whispered anyway. Widows were not meant to laugh again. One cruel voice reached her ears, and old guilt rushed back, threatening to drown her. She packed her things, ready to leave before she ruined Thomas too. But this time he stopped her. His voice shook as he spoke, eyes filled with emotion he had hidden too long. "Loving again doesn't erase the past," he said. "It honors it. Pain doesn't mean your heart is dead. It means it's still alive." Mary looked at him, truly looked, and saw not a replacement, but a companion. Not a savior, but a man walking beside her. She stayed. Seasons changed. Together they built a small life, modest, honest, warm. Mary planted flowers again. Thomas smiled more. Love did not come as fire, but as dawn, slow, steady, inevitable. One evening, as the prairie glowed gold, Mary placed her head on Thomas's shoulder. For the first time since she lost everything, she felt whole. Not because her pain vanished, but because someone showed her it could be carried together. And as the wind moved gently across the plains, the widow who lost everything learned that love does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it comes quietly and heals you piece by piece. If this story touched your heart, reminded you that even the deepest loss can be healed by kindness and patience, then don't walk this journey alone. Subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories of love, loss, and second chances from the Wild West and beyond. Your support helps keep these stories alive.